Good afternoon from the Digital Agency Rubikon. Today we will be demonstrating a widget for integrating Altegio and Kommo CRM. The widget, brought to you by Rubikon, allows integration with Altegio from Kommo CRM. The integration enables you to create and sync records in Altegio with Kommo. This includes status synchronization and bilateral record editing. Consequently, it provides a more convenient way to operate programs and saves time that would otherwise be spent on tedious switching and searching for lost clients. For instance, for an existing deal, you can create a record without having to access Altegio directly. The record will reflect in Altegio. Similarly, creating a record from Altegio will translate as a deal in Kommo. By editing the record status in Kommo, it is also synchronized. All the necessary parameters of the record are transferred to the deal. Moreover, you can use triggers to automate the creation, editing, and deletion of records while working with the Altegio integration. Supplementary to this, we have a power-packed tool that analyzes client visits. If, for instance, a client does not make an appointment during a given period, say, a month has elapsed since the client's last appointment, and they have not arranged any appointments for the next 2 months, the tool will activate a sales bot. This allows you and your managers to spot problematic clients and process them in a strategy that suits you. Additionally, the Altegio's integration offers a tool for seeking available specialists. It will examine whether there are free employees, and if so, it will provide the option to enlist the client for a service at their convenience. Let's proceed to the settings, open them, and choose the tab for integration with Altegio. In this section, you should select the branches you intend to connect. Only data from these companies will be processed. You will need to click on the Connect tab, go to the Altegio page, and connect the necessary branches in this section. Then, select the Kommo CRM account, click Allow, and proceed to the Field Settings tab. In this section, you're required to set the relationship between the value from the Altegio record and the Kommo fields. This can be the transaction fields, record date, field format, record time, and so on. It is also possible to merge these two fields into one. This can be achieved via a flag in the widget settings, which allows the record time and date to be in one field. To do this, you have to create a time format field. The essential fields that need filling are record ID, company ID, and branch ID. Fields for data values must be numeric. There is also a correlation between the contact and MMAM values. The client ID is a mandatory field. Moreover, integration with Altegio enables work with subscriptions. The following values are transferred to Kommo CRM: per subscription, start and end of the subscription, remaining classes in the subscription, branch address, city, and day of the week of recording, all in date formats. The next step is the User Settings tab, where you allot the correspondences between users, Kommo CRM, and services. For this, you will need to input the login credentials for the worker's account in the user block. If the synchronization is successful, you will be able to make entries. In case the accesses are incorrectly entered, the system will display an authorization error message. Here you can also set up branches and networks, which will be displayed in the record window from the widget button for each working individual separately. Mark the checkboxes where necessary and save the settings. In the Automation tab, you can set up the synchronization of the transaction stage between the Kommo CRM and Altegio. For instance, if the status in the record is client arrived, then in Kommo's, the transaction status will be successfully completed. You can also set up synchronization conditions. That is, in one pipeline, if a client comes to the Altegio, this will result in a successful implementation. And in pipeline 2, when a client arrives, the transaction stage will already be paid. There are also other schemes you might need, or you can entirely disable synchronization as per your request. In the Automation section, you can set up the widget operation, communications, and logic for processing data from the source. This means setting tasks for creating a record, adding a journal to the records in the transaction section, displaying the Go button in the transaction journal entry, hiding the recording window in the transaction at stages, not creating a transaction when creating a transaction when creating a record, searching for duplicates among transactions. You need to select stages to search for duplicates. which transaction to choose for updating, and if needed, 2 additional parameters. Creating transactions if there is no client in the record and assigning the associated user Altegio as responsible. There is a request history tab where you can view which requests from clients audio were carried out successfully or unsuccessfully. Unsuccessful requests can be repeated to correct integration errors. Inside the digital pipeline, there are also trigger settings from the Altegio integration widget. Triggers also help automate and make the widget experience more efficient. The Kommo Rubikon integration widget also has a trigger. There are additional options. To set a trigger, we need to go to the digital pipeline, type in Alt-Go, set the trigger. What are the trigger's capabilities? With the Altegio integration widget's trigger, you can update the deal. A record can be deleted. When a deal moves to a stage where there is a trigger, the record in it will be automatically deleted. Payments can be recorded in various ways. With a trigger, a record will be created automatically when a deal is transferred or a deal is created at a specific stage. With the Altegio integration widget, you can update the record status changes here, and you can change the record's color. Also, if you use the super function, you can select the client search period. Select the branches where you want to search. Set the period, for example, 30 days. If there is no record and the client has no records for 30 days, and select the required bot that launches. A specific function, for example, creating a deal pipeline for processing lost clients, or a bot that will automatically write to a client if they have not signed up for the required number of days. This is brief instruction on setting up the Altegio integration widget with Kommo CRM from the Digital Agency Rubikon. Thank you for your attention.